Welcome to Agenda Edina, a program summarizing the actions taken at City Hall that affect you most. I'm your host, Dorothea Marty. The city is one step closer to building a new Fire Station 2, having secured temporary financing for the site acquisition and initial design. The fire department currently operates Fire Station 2 on York Avenue, next to the Southdale YMCA. Staffed with 2 firefighter paramedics, Fire Station 2 is not large enough to provide the future level of service needed in the southeast quadrant. The land is also too small to build the size of station needed to best serve the community. After hearing from residents, the city selected a site in the Pentagon Park neighborhood at 4401 West 76th Street for the replacement fire station. At a meeting earlier this month, the council approved the issuance of $17 million in short-term bonds to provide temporary financing for the site acquisition and initial design of the building. The bonds are set to mature in 2025, as the costs are anticipated to be wrapped into permanent financing once the design and construction are underway. Before the bond sale to Morgan Stanley & Company, the city's high bond ratings were reaffirmed. Independent bond ratings agencies Standard & Poor's and Moody's Investors Service recently affirmed their AAA ratings for Edina, ensuring that the city's debt is issued with the lowest possible interest expense and cost to the taxpayer.
It just speaks to the strengths of the community, including a diverse tax base, a growing economy, consistently stable financial operating position, liquidity in our financial position, and S&P also mentioned sophisticated and knowledgeable management within the city staff. So there's a lot to be proud of here.
The city is now working to hire an architect and construction manager for the project. It is anticipated that the fire station would open in 2025. The city will join a consortium to provide anti-scale fencing if there was ever violent civil unrest in the community. Recent experience has shown that the use of anti-scale fencing has greatly de-escalated tensions between law enforcement and protesters. Also, it helps reduce trauma on the community, improve safety, and minimize the impact on neighboring properties. Area law enforcement agencies have joined together to form a fencing consortium, which will jointly contract with a fencing vendor for the availability, storage, maintenance, and transportation of anti-scale fencing. If the fencing is ever needed by a member of the consortium during a time of unrest, the vendor will be deployed to bring and set up the anti-scale fencing.
The reason why we wanted to put this together is that it creates a cost-sharing program, incentivizing departments to get together. So financially, it makes sense for us to do that. It's a quick deployment plan, so we collaborate with other public work departments and other police departments across the metro area. So if we were to have to activate that, we could get a fence solution in place within hours of actually activating that. And it also protects safety in place for those that are protesting and officers that might be having to guard against or protect a building. And it doesn't have to be a police department, it could be any governmental building.
The City Council approved a joint powers agreement with the fencing consortium earlier this month. A local policy will be developed outlining when the fencing would be used in Edina. City rights-of-way are busy places. They're host to cars and pedestrians, along with contractors working throughout the year to install and maintain utilities. Now, a new internet provider is busy laying the groundwork for future service in the city. Edina TV shows us more about rights-of-way and how residents can seek answers to questions about work near their property.
On a hot day in July, U.S. internet contractor Ironwood worked to place conduit underground in the Sunny Slope neighborhood. Fiber optic cable for high-speed internet service will be connected later.
We want to get it up in October, and that'll be this south side kind of going all the way over to 100. And then it's probably a 2 to 3 more season effort to get all of Edina built out.
Like other private utilities, this service is installed in the right-of-way, usually unnoticed except for the construction phase or for maintenance.
The city's got sidewalk projects, the city's got mill and overlays for pavement, we've got reconstruction going on.
That work can lead to a lot of questions from residents about what's going on. or concerns about damage to lawns and other landscaping. The City of Edina is a good resource for them.
We're going to help them with restoration issues associated with private utility work or with any questions that come up.
Contractors know if there are issues with restoration work after construction. The city has 2 years to track them and ensure they're addressed.
Because we're really trying to make it anonymous. In the beginning, you see a lot of holes. It maybe looks a little bit concerning, but it goes away.
And while residents have rights concerning their property next to a right-of-way, they also need to avoid encroaching into them.
Those are things that are more permanent, like structures, retaining walls, but then there are things that are less permanent, but still could be impacted by work in the right-of-way.
And when there are fewer issues, with luck, Minnesota's construction season may feel less perpetual. I'm Dan Carpenter for Edina TV.
Residents with questions or concerns about work taking place in the right-of-way can contact graduate engineer Zuli Marquez by calling 952-826-0322 or send an email to zmarquez@edinamn.gov. Be sure to visit the Edina Aquatic Center before it closes for the season August 21st. It's a great place to cool off on a hot summer day. Thank you for watching this episode of Agenda Edina. I'm your host, Dorothea Marty.